everybody, it's Brad from the Cinema Guys. I'm here with Jason from A History of Bad Ideas. We are doing another joint video, but this time, instead of a movie review, we brought in actual people who make the movies. We have Andrew Thomas Hunt, the director of Spare Parts, as well as all of the actresses in the movie. We have... I'm going to murder names. Michelle, Emily, Kiriana, and Chelsea. I'm just going first name.
Nailed
right
it. First name, Brad. Good idea. Brad. Nice one.
You can blame it on my last name. I get it.
Before I started, I asked my wife, because she does college counseling, so she does a lot of graduations. And I'm like, how would you say this last name?
And what did she say?
Yeah,
she said, why don't you? She goes, why don't you ask her? And I'm like, fair enough.
Why don't you give it a go? I want to hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay.
Find out.
Argyris.
Ooh, I think that's the worst I've ever heard it. Where's the RG?
Ouch.
Where did the A come in? Argyris.
No, you know what? I just added that in my mind. That's all.
Ultimately, you're trying too hard there, Brad. You're trying
that's
to
what it
pronounce,
was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
So it's Argyris.
Argyris.
Or if you want to really be specific, it's like a Greek Macedonian last name. So it's Argyris. So you roll the tongue a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Way to butcher a badass last name, Brad.
I
Good
know.
job.
Way to ruin this right off the bat, right? All right. So
You're doing great.
We're here to talk Spare Parts, which just came out last week on VOD and DVD, Blu-ray, all of that. Jason and I got a chance to see it, and I had a blast with this movie. I will tell you that right off the bat. Like, it was just fun.
Yeah, it was made to be like a fun Midnight Madness festival kind of going crowd. You know, don't take it too seriously. Don't sit there and go, hey, wait a second, they couldn't have arms like that and do those. Like, as soon as you do that, just like get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, because to me, it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, well, guy by the name of Freddy couldn't come back from the dead and kill campers for 30 fucking years. So, like, you know, like when you go into any movie, you gotta have some sort of suspension of, you know, disbelief, right? Like you just gotta like go in and say, okay, yeah, take me on this ride, and hopefully I have fun along the way.
Oh, and I did. I had a blast. I was waiting, like when the chainsaw went on, I was like, just in my mind immediately just went groovy. Because, you know, the first thing you think of is Ash.
Sure, that would have maybe been a little too on the nose, but yes, yeah, you know.
I'm glad you said it was like that, because Andrew, like when I was watching it, it felt like something I would go at a horror movie convention at midnight to see, specifically, like a Rocky Horror type show. Like you would go to it, and it's very Grindhouse like.
Wow.
Is that what you were trying to gear for? Is like the old Grindhouse type films?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a big fan of those films, and listen, I love comedies, I love gore fests, but I didn't want to take it too comical, and I didn't want to take it too gory. I kind of like things that, you know, are a little bit more, I don't know. I like things that are just a little bit darker, a little bit more, that they're not poking fun of themselves too much. You know what I mean? Like I love those films. Like I'm a big fan of like Psycho Gorman and Turbo Kid, and obviously Raven Banner. We were involved with both of those films. But yeah, I wanted this film to be a little bit more grounded in reality, for lack of a better word, you know, but at the same time making like a classic Grindhouse film that was just about badass women who, you know, were sticking it to the man as best they could in that environment.
And what about you ladies? Did you have a blast just going, you know what? We get to kick ass and we get to just have fun.
So I mean, I'd say it was like a therapy session for 12 days. It was amazing. It was just like, I mean, all of us showed up, and it was just being as raw and authentic as possible, not knowing what was going to come next. We dealt with a lot of different things, weather, you know, a lot of different things that kind of added to the uncomfortability of our environment, which was perfect for our characters. But it was like getting to play for 12 days, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, and even before with all the stunt training that we got to do, that was like the best. The best.
Yeah.
Was it a month or 3 weeks?
It was about a month, I think, almost, of training, at least for you guys. I know
3.
the last like week or so, like I dipped out a little bit, but yeah, we had like a whole month of training, and like first was like a little bit of conditioning the first couple of days because we just had to like get strong to, you know, build our stamina up to be able to do it for the 2 weeks that 2.5 weeks that we shot and stuff. And man, our bodies were wrecked after the first day. I just remember showing up to the studio and just like, there's pictures of us just like passed out, sprawled, like scattered around the mats and stuff, just in so much pain, but it like such a good pain. Like it was so fun. and after that, like I ended up continuing like finding my own little places to do martial arts and fighting. I enjoyed it so much. Like it was really, really fun. And Kiriana, you have a background in stunts and stuff, so this was
the fight scenes were
in a playground.
My favorite part to actually physically film, because the stunt team that we were working with, their choreography was very creative and like out of the box. So you got to just do so much more than you normally do with fighting on film, because they were trying to like test the boundaries of weapons and movement, like what they could do. And I'm also friends with a lot of the people on the stunt team, and I'd worked with them before, I'd fought with them before. So they're people that I trust and that I love, and we just got to have so much fun while keeping each other as safe as possible, because we know each other. We already know how the other person moves. So I got to just like work with my friends and just kick the shit out of them, which is always a good time.
Now, did you all have to like really learn to move a little differently with an attachment on your arm to be like, wait, I have an extension, I can't just
When we were practicing, Andrew, what did you have? We like taped these like fake foam arms when we were in the studio. Just like these and they were flimsy. They were just going like this while we were trying to hold the arm. But so it was one thing to learn choreography and do it with something that weighed like not even 1/20th of a pound. But then how much did the actual arms weigh, Andrew? Do you know?
I don't know. They weren't a lot, like maybe 5 pounds, I would say, but it's just wearing it constantly and having to do it. And also the fact that it's longer, you're holding in a way that you're not used to. And so, it just, and then I'll add to it the fact that, you're clashing it against somebody else's arm, or you're hitting it on the ground. Like you girls walked away with bruised arms by after that first day. I know you were cursing.
Okay, he added some padding, so it was better by day 2.
I got a little lucky. I have my most of my fight background is in sword fighting, so it's already supposed to be an extension of the arm. So I got a little bit lucky with having a little bit of experience there. It just, you have to have your hands. It was weird having your hand like this the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it was flat. You didn't have like something to hold on to while you're doing it.
I did.
It depended on like the day.
Okay.
On which weapon?
Yeah, mine was kind of like just my fingertip.
Yeah, I was like holding it like this on the inside so that it was like tagging into my arm.
Because here the reality is that like we shot this film for $1 million and we shot it in 18 days and we had a small team, and so our props team was essentially like literally building the props like a day, sometimes a day before we were to use them. Like we didn't have a lot of time to like prep and to like figure shit out, which kind of sucked. But
and they did an awesome job. Like they look so
no, totally, they did an awesome job. But it's just like we were flying by the seat of our pants,
The film overall looked beautiful. Like it was clean. Like I was watching it. I watched it again yesterday, and it was just clean. I just felt like some of the times with films and that independent films and that you could tell like some issues within it. I thought it was a really clean film, like from start to finish. So I was very impressed with that. It was a nice job.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, my producing partner on this, Pasha, was also the DOP, and he's shot a lot of other films and music videos and whatnot. And we discussed going into it that we wanted this apocalyptic style of film to not be so apocalyptic. We wanted it to be bright and colorful, and we worked on the color scheme for each of the battles, going into it knowing which color there'd be, and then even at the end when the girls face off, this girl has this color and this character has that color. So we planned all of that in advance, because again, we just wanted to have a look that you don't really see in this style of film.
Were there any weapons that did it that no pun intended, made the cutting room floor like you thought about using and just didn't?
No, I surprisingly not. Again, when this was being scripted, we were thinking about, what kind of weapons would you naturally find either in a junkyard, or what would be, suitable. So obviously a machete, an axe, a sledgehammer. Hey, you might find like hedge trimmers. Okay,
yeah,
that's not really a weapon, but fuck yeah, they'd use it. You know what I mean? So, and then the idea of like using mufflers kind of as like a weighted strengthening weapon, just little things like that. So, pretty much everything that kind of was scripted ended up in the film in a way. The biggest change was that originally in the original script, the girls were rock climbers. And then along the way, we changed them to a rock band, which obviously was a lot more kind of, it suited the concept better. And it was just more fun that these girls were then like kick-ass. We could start the film with a bar fight and then performing and show how they can handle themselves in these kind of situations. So that was probably one of the best changes that we made to the script.
I did want to ask you about the name for the band, Miss 45. Is it influenced by the Miss 45 exploitation movie from the early 80s?
Of course, Abel Ferreira. Yeah, that's one of my favorite films. Yeah, I love that film. So
no one's brought that up yet.
Yeah, a couple people have. Yeah, a couple people have. Most people, yeah. And it's just like such a cool name for a group. And particularly like an all-female rock group. I'm surprised that no band has ever called themselves that. So I'm glad I was kind of like the first to make that homage.
Mm-hmm. The first to rip it
off. Fine, whatever, Emily. Maybe then we can turn off her mic.
You've been voted off the island.
Did you ladies enjoy being in you were like a band? Like I love that opening scene. Like I thought the song was awesome, and then you guys just like kick ass. Like, did you? I don't know. Did you guys actually play the instruments, or did you just like?
Yeah, for the most part. Kiriana was like, she went all in. And Andrew was so excited. He kept sending us we had a group chat and Kiriana wasn't in it. And he kept sending us all these videos of her playing the drums. And he was like so excited about how awesome. We're like, yeah, we know. Kiriana's amazing.
Well, for me, it's like, it's easy enough to like fake the guitar and the bass. You know what I mean? You just put your hand there and you pretend you're doing this and people aren't really paying attention. But drums is something a lot more specific. Like, you got to be hitting the cymbal and like the toms, and it's a little bit more precise. So Kiriana thankfully had a little bit of background in drums to begin with, but then once she was, got the role of the drummer, she went all in learning it. Anyway, she can speak to it, but she practiced her ass off.
My buddy Ryan is the drummer of a band called Till Howell, and I honestly, once I booked it, I just messaged him. I was like, "Hey, I haven't played drums in a couple of years. Like, I still know what I'm doing, but can you help me out?" He's like, "Yeah, totally. Like, $20? Cool. All right, great." So I went to his house a couple of times, and he literally just like taught me some Brody Dow songs and more of the punk style of drumming. And then eventually, once we actually got the recording of the song, he walked me through the song, so I knew exactly what I was doing. So in the film, like everything of that song, I'm actually playing, which is still constantly stuck in my head all of the time. It's a lot of fun. It is exhausting, but it is a lot of fun. I had like calluses by the end of that shoot day, like torn up. Felt great.
Because when I
thought originally, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Sorry. When we were originally auditioning for our parts, and then I ended up getting cast, and I was like, well, shoot, okay. Jill is supposed to play the drums. At the beginning, Jill was supposed to play the drums, and I was like, oh God, because you can fake it. This you can't really fake. You need to. So I ordered like a little electronic drum set and started like practicing teaching. And as soon as Kiriana got the drums, I was like, hell yeah! Oh my God, amazing! Thank you so much, Andrew. That was very difficult. And then I ended up like learning the bass a little bit and learning guitar and stuff. But what a relief that Kiriana actually knew how to play the drums. It is very difficult. I respect it a lot after trying to just learn the basics and. Yeah,
totally. And I think it added to the authenticity too when we were doing it. Like just knowing that you were playing beside us was really cool. So
yeah, they had to put like towels on the insides of the drums and the cymbals so that it wasn't actually like blaring out the room because I was kicking the shit out of them.
yeah.
Where did you film the movie at?
We filmed it up in Sudbury, which is about 3 hours north of Toronto, and it's Emily's
Me's
hometown.
hometown.
Ah,
Yeah, which was just a coincidence. But one of the ways that we funded the film was they have like what are called regional incentives, and so they're trying to bring film productions, the industry up to Northern Ontario. So we were able to get like essentially some funding from that region to film. And then up in Sudbury, they had like we shot the film in an actual metal recycling facility, and they had an auto wrecking yard that was just outside of their, maybe a half hour away from their facility, and that's where we shot the arena portion of it. So and that's what made it a challenging film, is because we were shooting in a real auto wrecking yard outdoors, and we couldn't tent it or anything like that. So we had to just deal with the elements as they came in.
did you get weird looks from any of the employees walking by?
No, thankfully not. We were like in the middle of nowhere, essentially. And there was one house across the street from us, oddly enough, in the middle of the country. And they were pretty pissed off with us. But other than that.
Yeah, we also shot in the middle of the night. So.
Yeah.
Didn't we get kicked out of a few locations though? I seem to remember that.
When you were guys shooting like the interiors, I remember, because I wasn't shooting that day, but I remember you guys being like, yeah, Andrew just like tried to distract the guys that work there, because just like keep rolling, just like do it. And then he like left to just like talk to the guys so they can finish their scene.
Yeah, so that was Catherine and I, and it was right before I'm supposed to puke, and I'm like holding the knife up to Catherine. Catherine plays what's her name in the film? It's Leah and Amy, and I'm holding her neck. And the guy came in, he's like, "Nope, you're done." And Andrew's like, "Yeah, it's cool, man. Hold on." And he goes to the side, and we're like, "Guys, keep shooting." And I'm like, "This is the puke, give me the puke." And they're putting it in my mouth. I'm like, go, ready? Okay, let's go. And we were trying to do it while Andrew we're directing ourselves, just to get it done, because this guy was like not having it. We had gone over time. He didn't want to give us not even another minute. So Andrew was like, "Yeah, man," and he goes and like puts his arm around his shoulder and starts talking about things. And we're like, "Hurry up." So we ended up getting that little puke.
Yeah.
Go. And so we got our little pukeogen. I don't think it was as like not gory, but as like big as you wanted it to be, Andrew. But as gross,
yeah.
But
well, that's it, yeah, because we're shooting in this plant, and they would, I guess, close around 5 p.m. and then we would go in at 6, and we would shoot throughout the night or on weekends. But yeah, we had an overzealous security guard there who didn't allow us to go longer than we were supposed to go, and it caused some tensions at times. But
we did it.
But that's the thing, man. That's what low budget filmmaking is all about. You get obstacles thrown in your way constantly, and you got to navigate it and not crash.
I kind of want to know what the security guard's story is now, like his backstory. Like, he gets shunned out of the film industry or something. Like he's so pissed off now. Like, nope, you're not doing it. Not past midnight.
If I was doing it again, I'd offer him a small role in the film, like as a guy who gets killed or something, just to make him happy.
Yeah.
Are there any ideas for Spare Parts 2?
No, none.
No.
He doesn't want to see us ever again.
No, like the thing is that I love making a film that has like an open-ended ending. You know what I mean? Like where you think, okay, this is going to continue on, or what's going to happen next. But then why even explore that? You know what I mean? It's like I've moved on. I've already done my third, my next film since this, and I'm working on a script after that. And so, listen, if this thing sells so incredibly well.
In a nice way.
I mean, there's also some reasons why 2 couldn't happen.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, but
it would be a very different movie.
There's always ghosts.
Yeah, it would be a very different film.
Michelle, I was looking at, your upcoming films, and did you literally go from Spare Parts to 2 Christmas films? Is that correct? Is that correct?
Man,
Don't say anything bad about Christmas films. I'm just warning you, dude. She will bite your head off.
My wife and I are suckers for like the Hallmark Christmas movies. So,
man, I will say I love doing Christmas movies. They're like, it's like having Christmas every day for weeks. But I will say my 2020 was Christmas all year. I did 2 Christmas movies, a rom-com. This was following Spare Parts, and then I did a comedy. So I had a lot of like very lighter, I guess, films. But for every couple light films, I'm like, okay, this is great, but there's a lot going on in here, and I need to like spew that out. So like, I need another Spare Parts. I'm ready for another thriller. But I really love doing, I love the feel-good movies, and I love being a total badass too. I mean, I'll take both. And it's nice to not be stuck doing one character. I love doing all sorts of different shit. So, yeah.
I just thought it was humorous that you go from, people's eyes getting gouged out, which, Andrew, was that like a flashback? Like, I feel like a lot of the 80s horror films, there's always somebody gouging the guy's eyes out with his thumbs. Always. And then you go to Christmas.
Oh, yeah. And like, I've never killed people. I'm always the person that's like either like the heart and love and smiley one of the movie, or the one who's literally killing everyone in the dirtiest ways possible. Like, it's like one or the other. There's no in between. So
just like you in real life.
Exactly. It's like I can be super happy, but you don't want to cross me at the same time. So it's all about that balance.
So what is happening for all of you next after? I know Spare Parts was filmed a while ago, so you've probably done a few projects since then. But I mean, what is coming up? Hopefully, as things start to open up and stuff like that, like being able to get out again.
I shot another film. I shot a film called The Fight Machine, February of last year. So, and we wrapped production just before the whole COVID bullshit kind of, happened, before lockdown and all that happened. So I've been in post with that one all this time. I was just actually yesterday in the sound mix where we're working on finalizing that and have a few last VFX. And so that one will come out. And then my partners and I, we've produced a few films during COVID. I can't name a couple of them because they're secret projects, but one of them was called The Breach, which was written by Nick Cutter and directed by Rodrigo Godino of Rue Morgue magazine. And Emily was one of the stars in it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I can't wait to see.
It'll be fun.
What else have you guys been up to?
Oh, gosh.
I have a couple of feature films that I did a couple months ago. One I just wrapped, so that's not going to be out for a while, but it's also a Hallmark, so maybe those turn around like pretty quick. It should be out by Christmas, a little rom-com. And then, oh man, this other feature film, here's the story about this feature film. So,
Will this be a long story?
No, it won't be a long story. It won't be a long story. So it's going to come out later in the year, but I'm excited to see it because, as we know, Corona pandemic, it's a thing. And I got a call from one of my friends, and she's like, "Hey, I might have a part for you for something." I'm like, "Sick, because a girl's got to eat. So like, do we need to audition?" And she was like, "No, right now, send me your coordinates. I need you in front of a camera in 2 hours. It's one of our main girls. An emergency has happened, and I need you to. If anyone can do it, you can." And I was like, "Oh, so you said it's one of the main characters? Like, how many lines do I have today?" And she's like, "Okay, so it's about 15 pages today, but we'll just, take it as we go." And a car just showed up, and within 2 hours, I was in front of a camera. So I'm excited to see it because who knows what I did,
That sounds like Ryan Allen playing the Driller in this film.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Something similar happened to me.
We had a dude who was booked to play the Driller, and then like 2 weeks before we were to start filming, he dropped out due to scheduling issues. So then we got another dude, and literally the day before we were start shooting with him, he called me and said that he broke his shoulder and he couldn't do the film. And so literally we had to quickly alter our schedule and move what we were supposed to start with Driller on the Thursday night, move that to the Friday night. And then that Wednesday we started looking around for, you know, other actors. And so all the girls were like throwing in names of people that they knew. And Michelle happened to know this Ryan Allen, and he gave us an audition, and literally 24 hours later, he was in a car coming up to us, learning his lines to shoot the next day. It was insane.
And he killed it.
Yeah.
He killed
it.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy in how in those situations, like, it's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing to happen. But then I can't imagine that character Driller as anyone else now.
That's
and
exactly
the
it.
universe always, especially in these indie projects where you just kind of have to let go. It's like, well, let's let go. And it always ends up working out for the best way, even though it's kind of a shitstorm. But at the end of the shitstorm, there's a shit rainbow, and it's beautiful, you know.
Yeah, something really similar happened to me. I had an audition one day, and then the next day I had a live python wrapped around my neck. It was just like less than 24 hours time. I was like, okay, this is happening.
What I want to know is, Kiriana, have you done any Christmas movies?
So, I have not. But funny enough, I'm actually in early development for one right now. That I wrote, actually. So that's, I've been writing a lot during the pandemic. So I'm actually in like early production for two things that I wrote right now. And one of them is a Christmas movie, which you would not guess when you look at me, but you know, it's a queer Christmas rom-com because Hallmark doesn't make those. So I'm going to do it myself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to, I'm working on that with my friend Umberly Gonzalez, who is one of my favorite people, a lovely person to work with and an incredible actress. So her and I actually wrote it together, and we're working on developing our team for that right now, which is really fun. Christmas is an interesting genre.
Christmas and horror.
Christmas films.
And I was also in season 5 of The Expanse, to answer your other question. So check that out on Amazon Prime.
Very cool.
Emily, I have a question for you. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I know you did a rom-com recently. Did you have, when you did your kissing scene, did you have to use the plexiglass during pandemic?
No, it's so crazy. I've done 3 films during COVID, and for whatever reason, all 3 productions had, like, we had a bubble on Breach, so everyone was tested, and then no one was allowed in or out.
Yeah.
And the other 2, we had sort of similar situations. But I was doing I did a full sex scene, and I did two other movies with smooching and no COVID stuff. But my guy's an actor too, and he just did a rom-com. And I was like, this is payback. Now you get to make out with another girl, and he was pretty stoked about it. And then they had the plexiglass. So
Emily's got the plexiglass on her teeth, so maybe that's wrong.
Exactly.
So he had to use plexiglass on his?
Yeah. Like a stand with like a little.
Yeah. But so what they did is they would put the plex, because I did one and I had to use the plexiglass, but like when you're doing a rom-com, literally it's like
with Corey, right?
It's with Corey, Corey Sevier, and it's like it's that moment that we wait an hour and a half for. Like, you have to have a good kiss. If the kiss sucks, you're like, oh man, like I waited a whole movie for that. So we took it really seriously, and we were like, do we get in trouble? And then on the day, do we just not use it? Go for it. And then they'll be like, oops, they did it. And they can just use the footage. And then right before we did it, the first AD comes up and he's like, guys, don't fuck around. Use the glass. We were like, damn it. Okay. So we were like, let's just own this. So what we did is we would look at each other and then giggle, smile, and then get a little closer and giggle. So we had to really own the getting in just before the kiss to make it as like, what's the word? I can't even think of the word. It's like
explosive,
fun.
Sure, explosive as possible. But it's hilarious. So I like went to use my tongue, and I'm like, it's like this right on this like plexiglass. But we owned it and we went for it, and I don't think you can really tell. So awkward, moments of pandemic, but you do what you got to do to make it work.
So is that that's the regulations now? You gotta use plexiglass for the filming?
But it's so silly. Like I wasn't kissing Corey, but Corey was the lead of the Hallmark that I was just doing.
Oh, nice. I love Corey.
They were doing that, like I wanted to watch because I was like, let's see how this shit's gonna go down. And they shot the like pull away. And then they were gonna like put in the like plastic after, but I was like, y'all, we literally have been dicking around for 45 minutes, you figuring out where you're gonna put this piece of plastic. Meanwhile, for the first shot, like setting up the shot, like they were just standing like this and
breathing in each other's faces anyway,
each other's mouths anyway.
Yeah.
I'm like, just lick her face. Come on, just do it.
But I think
5 minutes of the day or whatever. But I
productions
was
have
in
to cover
OT
their
anyway,
butts.
so I was like, y'all take your time, babies. Y'all take your time.
Yeah.
Did Corey tell you that that was his second plexi kiss? It might be his third,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
He's done so many of these movies.
Thank God. In
Hilarious.
spare parts, we were just allowed to spit in each other's mouth. Michelle, you
Licking
could just
licking
like right on
cheeks,
licking
Ryan Allen's cheeks. Yeah.
I miss that. God
I
damn.
know.
Back in the before times.
Yeah, blood squirts on your face. It was fine. Look
Do
at
you
us
think
yeah.
in like
here, but
We were
20 years
literally in
people will
hugging
know?
and cuddles like our whole movie. Us, like as our, just we were really
Yeah.
close. So every day we were snuggling and cuddling, and like between takes it was freezing, and we were just so close. So like I love that. I love being able to physically touch people and hug and stuff like that. So pandemic was hard. It's hard not being able to get close to people. That sucks, especially for artists. And that's like our language. That's how we speak. And it's hard having a barrier.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming on and chatting with us. Like I could sit here and just like listen to you guys chat all day long. This has been so much fun.
We could sit here and probably chat all day long about everything but the film. So yeah.
I mean, at least you didn't start we had the actresses from Host on last year. At least we didn't have like a seance or anything like that. So
oh, cool.
but I want to tell everyone, yes.
Sorry, I got one question for Andrew.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I ask one question about? You said your future films, and I get it. You know, you can't say too much. There is one film that's on IMDb that Brad and I have talked about for the last like 3 months. If it's on IMDb, can I ask you about it real quick?
Sure.
It's coming up.
I don't know which one this is.
You will. You're a producer on it. Crabs.
Crabs. Yes. What would you like to know about it?
How awesome is it going to be? I just want to know, what is it?
It's been a long time in the making, is what it's been. The director, a lovely guy by the name of Pierce. It's his first film, and he's had some issues along the way, like his producer dropped out and ran out of money and all that kind of stuff. But we're helping him along, helping him to finish it. It's always 2 weeks away from being finished, and it's been 2 weeks away from being finished for about the last year. But we're about 2 weeks from being finished right now. So, but yeah, no, we're starting.
Let's talk in 2 weeks.
Festivals. Yeah. So hopefully it will come out later this year at a film festival somewhere. So yeah, but yeah, it's a fun, crazy film about giant crabs, and it goes into some wacky places, and yeah.
We've done several Raven Banner films, like reviews, Brad and I, and I think we did Sky Sharks. Is that one of them?
Sharks? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love Sky Sharks. And we keep seeing crabs, and Brad's like, "We got to review this." I was like, "It's not out yet."
Benny,
Yeah. Benny
Nice.
loves you.
Nice.
So,
Awesome.
we've been looking forward to it.
Well, when it's ready in 2 weeks, I'll give you a sneak peek.
Amazing. That's the thing that I love about Andy's mind and like Raven Banner and the things that they try to do. Like even when reading this script like months and months ago before booking it, like I think I auditioned my first audition, and then for 10 months, almost a year goes by, and then I found out that I booked it. But while I was like waiting and then finally got the script, I'm like, wow, like this is what this movie is going to be. And then seeing like the rest of the kind of credits that Raven Banner tries to do, like it's always these amazing absurdist ideas, and you're like, okay, well, let's throw this let's throw it at a wall and see if we can do it. And it always somehow comes out on the other side so magical. So yeah, I love the stuff that Andy does with.
Well, thank you. But
Raven
that's
Banner, 'cause
genre
you're just fucking weird, and I love it. Yeah.
Psycho Gorman. If any of you have not seen that, that is one of my favorite movies of this year.
Yeah,
and
Cool.
you guys did. It's so much fun.
it is a lot of fun. And Steve Kostansky, he's such a creative genius, that dude. And again, that was a labor of love for him. Like, he's a prosthetic makeup guy, and he spent like over a year making all these various creatures and taking his time shooting it. It's like it's the type of film that he probably couldn't have done in any kind of environment other than doing it independently, because like he was able to kind of do it his way.
Yep.
Yeah, without any, without anyone telling him, no, you can't do that, or you don't have the budget for that, or that's stupid. Like, he just, he did his thing.
I don't think you would have seen the baby scene. I won't spoil it in Spare Parts in most mainstream films. So
Yeah.
That one.
That wasn't CGI. That was an actual. It was
The makeup artist just had.
It was more disturbing in person. I will tell you that honestly. It was more disturbing in person.
I believe it. I can believe it.
Right. Yeah.
When they're like, oh, we're not going to let a pregnant woman fight. And I'm like, oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And then they it came out like, oh, no, that happened.
They did that.
and I love the way that Julian just kind of like reached backwards for it. And I love Julian.
Like
God, working with him was amazing. So he was only on our set for what, like 3 days?
Yeah. 2 days? Something like that.
Some 2-3 days. But what an amazing actor to work with, and such a gentleman.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all again for coming on to talk to us. And before we go, is there anything, like, where can we find you? Anything you want to plug before you leave? We can go around the horn. I can start with.
Oh yeah, well, I guess I've just been jumping in first.
Self-nominated.
Okay, well, I guess you can freaking follow me at Chelsea Mhead on Instagram, and I have a new show coming out soon on Amazon Prime and Apple TV called Slow Pitch. We got picked up for a second season, so if you haven't already, go and check out the first season. I'd really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy it. And that's all. Emily, you go next. Pass it on.
Okay. I have Facebook still, like your grandmother.
And MySpace. She has a MySpace account. So
Yes.
Friends.
Look at your old MSN handle.
Yes. I'm Emily _69 on For real though, I don't really have anything. But you can add me on Facebook if you want. Or just come to my house. And we will
While I'm sleeping.
Next person, Michelle.
Me?
I mean, if you just go on Instagram and you want to look up Michelle Argyris, it'll pop up, or Twitter. Pretty much the only. I don't really even use Twitter, to be honest, but mostly Instagram. Yeah.
That's if you can spell Argyris, but
that's if you can spell. At least it's here this time. On the other one, wait, right there. There it is. There.
Yeah, I'm
The
just
right name.
Kiriana Stanton on everything. Just Kiriana Stanton on Instagram, Twitter, pretty much anything. I mostly just use Instagram as well, but both. That's it.
And the best way to get me is through Raven Banner. We've got our Raven Banner Instagram and Facebook, and I'm actually on there quite often, checking it and checking messages there and posts and comments. So yeah.
And in 2 weeks, we'll be
And
releasing
go check out Spare Parts and watch Spare Parts.
Yes, go check out Spare Parts on VOD, disc, wherever you get movies. Check out Spare Parts.
Yes,
I had so much
Thanks,
fun
Brad.
with it,
And Jason.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Thanks, guys.
It was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that will do it for another joint video, and we will be back soon with either a review or get to talk to someone. I don't know, but we have fun with this. Follow us on all of the socials. Where can we find History of Bad Ideas, Jason?
right at, let me get this over here. There we go. At Bad Ideas Podcast on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook at The History of Bad Ideas. I'm with Emily. We still have Facebook.
Yeah, we have Facebook too.
Yeah, and the YouTube channel, The History of Bad Ideas. No, it was a good time. I love doing these. These are really fun.
Yeah, and I want to thank them again. I had a blast talking to them, and it's here we can get it at the Cinema Guys on Twitter and Instagram, and we do have a Facebook, as well. And also look for us on YouTube. If you're watching us on the Cinema Guys YouTube, go subscribe to History of Bad Ideas, and vice versa. You're watching over there, go subscribe to the Cinema Guys. And we will see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.